Yourself?
I am doing well. I'm doing well. I
Trying to
got
get
to get a little bit of stuff done last night. Not very much, but a little bit. Got this nice little decal
Yeah, I
decoration.
really like it. You know
Yeah, it looks good.
that's a good eye you got there, man. Because that's one of the cooler
I
skulls
love
that
that
I've
one.
been able to get out of.
I absolutely love that one. Yeah. So
Yeah,
we worked on that last night, and Mrs. Hippie, and then I was on. I went back on the radio last night. I was sitting around, and I was like, I got nothing
why
to do.
not? Eh? Sure.
Yeah, I went on from like I guess like 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock Eastern.
And then Tim came on after you.
Well, actually, Tim had an emergency. His wife's car service did not show up at his at the airport to pick her up, so
Oh,
he ended up having to cancel his show and ended up having to leave and go to get her at the airport, which was an hour and a half away. He was not expecting.
I know how that is.
Yeah, so he said he'll definitely be on tonight. And I've
Cool.
already sent out the message. Good morning, Dee Dee Dabs. I've already sent the message
Hello,
out
Dee
to
Dee Dabs,
Little
Kelly,
Box.
how are you today?
So they should be joining us. Dabby and Little Boxes should be here shortly. If everything went well. I sent them the
That's cool.
message.
I look forward to it. It's going to be neat. I like the screen. I like the way it looks right now.
Yeah, it does. I was concerned about your background. I didn't know if your background was going to black into it too much, but now it looks good.
Well, I change my background every day.
Right now, I know. So it's going to be different every day anyway.
This is a nice one today. I'm gonna put this out for sure. That's what I spent my morning
doing. Good morning, everybody. How are you? Welcome in, Kelly. Welcome in, Dee Dee. Thank you, Mr. Slow, for being here. Andrew, for being here. Thank you. Please share it out to your groups. Let them know we're on and we're live.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I really like it. It's a great image.
Yes, I love it.
That's
the guy who made it's a genius.
Yeah.
Whoever
created text to image AI technology
is a genius.
That's the genius.
Yeah.
So that's what I spent my morning doing, going through all my images, trying to pick.
Corrine, how are you?
The nicest ones for preparing them, right? Because it's a lot of work to prepare them to be able to have people download them and print them and get nice pictures at home. So,
yeah, well, you're getting it down. You're getting it down. These images are just some of the types of images that you can get from DoktorHigh over there. They're incredible. Some of them are absolutely well, they're all amazing. Some of them are just mind-blowing.
But some of them are a step above, right?
Yeah, like every one of them is amazing, but then there's a couple of them are just like,
yeah, like the yin yang.
Yes, I wanted that one, but I know you have plans for that one.
That's
Mary Jane, how are you?
That was close to being my.
There's Timmy now. Hi, Fungi Tim. How are you?
Oh, there's Tim. Good morning, Tim. MJ.
Miss Fungi made it home. Thank goodness.
We got a nice crowd this morning.
Oh, there's Little Boxes. I see her down there in the chat. Let me see if I can get her up here. All right, guys, everybody, here we go. Little Boxes and Dabby. Her name is Dabby. She's cute. Hi, Dabby.
Hey, how are you?
Wait a second. Can you hear her?
No.
I can't either. Uh-oh. That's not a good thing.
Got to get a mic on. It could be on her end, maybe on the mic. I don't know.
I got to see. I'm looking. She's not muted. Dabitha. Oh. Are you there? Still no volume. Uh-oh. How come?
Can you check your microphone, Little Boxes, and make sure it's not muted on your end somehow? I can't do anything with it from here.
I just checked everything on my side. It all says you're good to go. I mean, if I can hear you, I should be able to hear her.
Yeah.
I even turned up like other things that I don't normally have turned up. Check
Yeah, you're
1,
loud.
2. Check 1, 2. Check. 1, 2. Check. Testes 1, 2,
Testes.
3.
3.
3. That's from Beavis and Butthead.
That's funny.
All right, Dabby, take your time. Don't worry, sweetie. We're not in any
Yeah.
rush. Take your time. We're here.
Figure it out.
Yep. No rush.
Just the
Dabby, we are
technical issue.
very excited to talk to you. So you look very beautiful today.
I love that dress.
Oh, she's got a apron on. She's a baker.
Yeah. And that's definitely one of my favorite symbols. Good morning, Marcel.
Yes, I love that symbol too. And look, now the box has changed. So now look, they still look pretty cool the way they are around us. Uh-oh, she left. Uh-oh. Maybe she's going to try it again. Maybe I have to send her another invite. That would
No, she can click back in on the same one.
You can click on that same one. Okay.
Yeah,
Marcel, good morning. Dab 30. It's Dab 30. No, it's not. It's Dab o'clock.
Hey, it's real simple. On your dashboard, you see where it says members?
Members. He said members. No, where does it say members?
Right on the extreme left-hand side on your StreamYard dashboard says members. You can click on the members. In the middle, there's a little thing. You can just click it, and then it says co-host. And then we can link it together, and we can get access to a larger audience.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't see nothing that says members. Where? Over here?
Yeah, it's gonna be right on your dashboard.
Oh, wait, little Dabby's back.
Oh, here we go.
How about now?
Oh, we hear you.
Awesome.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Y'all are gonna get a cross between my voice and Dabby's voice because it's too early in the morning to do full Dabby.
I totally get it. It's okay.
It's never too early in the morning for full Dabby.
No. I got a new song about dabbing too. I love it. I played it earlier.
You know how harsh those dabs are on your throat. Well, Dabby's pretty harsh on my throat too. When I go,
Yep. I know, especially when you're doing a different voice all the time and you're trying. That's why I ended up going, because I used to do Grover, and I hated. I mean, it was rough on the voice. At the end of the day, you were like, oh. Ugh. Now I'm just like
a little bit like this. So yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's
got a little too many dabs.
Nice.
All right, so I can turn you up too, so you don't have to talk as loud. But well, let's go. Let's get it on, DoktorHigh. I'm just gonna shut up because you guys know what you're talking about. I know I can barely say the word. I got that part out.
No, I was listening to you this morning before earlier while I was doing my thing, and you said nano emulsified perfectly.
Oh.
It came out great. I heard you say it, so it was actually.
I was like, I'm trying. I'm trying to learn them.
Because I've done so much in this industry, and I wasn't aware that you could do a preparation at home that would allow for water solubility or at least suspension, right? It's never truly soluble in water, but you can get a suspension with nanoemulsification. So how is it going to be done at home? I'm so curious.
Sure. So I'm not sure how much Hippie told you about my background because we've known each other for a little bit. But
yeah, I really didn't get into it too much because.
Well, I know that you
to do.
Are a chef who works with cannabis infusion in foods. I also am aware that you're tied in with the medical community somehow through a university or maybe a group you work with.
So I'll give you just a broad overview.
I'd love to know. Yeah,
we got 2 hours. As long as you got 2 hours, you can take as long as you want.
That's right.
So when I was in undergrad, I studied psychopharmacology, and I just found it interesting. You know, every third person wanted a degree in psychology, and I was more interested in how you treat those illnesses and medications and things like that.
Right.
But then, that and 25 cents got me a cup of coffee unless I decided to go to medical school. And I was
Right.
not interested in doing that. And so I actually went to law school. So I'm an attorney.
Oh, okay.
But when the pandemic hit, my practice area went down a little bit.
Right.
And I found myself, I had kind of drawn a bright line about what I wanted to do. And I found myself not wanting to take cases that I would consider selling my soul, for lack of a better way to put it.
Right.
And I had also just become a medical patient.
Okay.
And I learned about this. I live in the South, and I learned about this culture of underground bakers who will make you a special brownie for $20.
Right. Right.
And I get one of these 4-inch by 4-inch brownies that taste like cardboard, and they're awful. And I
Right.
thought to myself, I could do this better and cheaper and actually help people because, I know a little bit about that stuff.
Sure.
And so that's how Little Boxes was born. It's only been about a year and a half since I made my first batch of cookies, and it's kind of gone crazy since then.
Oh, excellent.
As far as how I've learned, I have a few resources, some
Right.
of which are amazing, and some of which are my own research.
Okay.
I work with a cannabis nurse who I am really good friends with. Her name is Bonnie Drake.
Okay.
And she has a website, Grandma Bees. But so she's taught me a lot about, non-THC cannabinoids, but also a lot about other herbs that can kind of enhance.
Right. Can enhance the bioavailability or the effectiveness of the delivery of cannabis, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Like lately, she's been talking a lot about pumpkin seed oil, and
Okay.
so anyway, but so Bonnie's great. I also have another friend who goes by the Facebook name The Librarian, and she is a cannabis activist and just really a badass in the community, for lack of a better way to put it. And she's taught me a lot. Like I'll be in the middle of doing an infusion, and she'll say, "You don't want to decarb it for this long. You want to do it this way." So I take a lot of really extensive notes between
Right.
having met those two. There are also on the non-creator side of Facebook, if you're not here as a page, but if you're here as a person using a profile, there are actually groups for edible makers.
Oh, nice.
And most of those groups are honestly above the average person's head, and I don't recommend them for the average person. People get on there, and professional edible makers are like, "Why do you do that?" And they talk to them like they
Right.
are
Because they're real candy makers or trained chefs or whatever, right? So they're
exactly.
using a high technique that is
Exactly.
beyond what most people have the capability or the wherewithal to do at home.
Exactly.
I don't know. I don't see a flag next to your name, Marcel. I think you're crazy.
And so, I'll see a lot of those people. And the biggest complaint with the average group member in those groups was there was nobody to actually teach them, because they would post their stuff or ask questions, and they felt like they were getting talked to like they were stupid.
Right.
And so
That's unfortunate.
it really is. And I thought to myself, there has to be a better way. So first off, I already knew I could make brownies that didn't taste like cardboard.
Right. Right.
So I started the bakery and started doing some business with my local people. I met people. I work with a couple pain doctors. I met people in our grow program because we're a medical only state. And
Right.
I got to the point where, medical patients are comfortable and okay to come to me here where I am. And so I did that on the ground here, but then I thought I need to help people elsewhere. And so I started building my page and my community as a way to teach people. But then we get into the fact that I am an attorney,
Right.
and all of that. And I can't really show my face because even though we are fully medical and decriminalized and everything I'm doing is fine.
Yeah.
I have small children, and it's really not everybody's business what my entire life looks like.
Right, absolutely, and that's
So that's
one
how
of the
Daddy
stigmas
was
that we
born.
need to overcome, right? This
Right.
is a horrible stigma because it's no different than having any other illness that's being treated by medication. It's just as valid treatment with cannabis for a lot of things as it is for any pharmaceutical drug. And there should be no stigmatization. There should be no shame surrounding it, right? And it
Correct.
shouldn't be public knowledge either. And that's one of the issues with sometimes needing to go to a dispensary.
Oh yeah. No,
You know,
absolutely.
going to the physical location itself can expose you in a way that you can't guard against, right? The neighbor drives by, a coworker, you know. So yeah,
yeah.
I get it. I get it.
It's
Let
a
me
lot.
just yell
it's
out
a
to
lot-
everybody over there in the chat really quick. Good morning, everybody. Marcel, good morning.
morning,
Vera,
everybody.
how are you? Dabby,
Good
I guess
morning,
that's
y'all.
a friend of yours. Weira, hi, Weira. Weira is here, says good morning, Dabby, and good morning, fellas. Brian, I did
Hi,
get your
Weira.
email. I will be sending out the books today. I got the other two emails this morning, so I'm going to send
Yeah.
them all out.
And you got the copy from me yesterday.
I did. So I'm ready. I'm just.
You got my books, right? Little boxes.
So I have. That's actually one of the questions I was going to ask you today.
Yeah.
I got as many of your books as were available, but you said there were still a few that had to be uploaded.
She's
when
probably
you
got
were
the same
originally on.
18 that I have.
Yeah, I think Da.Hippie sent them to you, so you probably got the first 18, and
Yeah.
there are 7 more
Okay.
at this point, and I have another 6 more that are kind of outlined, but I've been going in other directions at the moment, trying to build up other things that might be, you know, help support this business as opposed to,
Oh yeah.
you know, because I keep those resources free. I try to give them away as much as possible, but there's expenses to running DoktorHigh,
I
and
understand.
yeah, so you know what I mean. I haven't focused on the last 6 right now, but there are 25 incomplete, and there's one that I think is really one of the best in the category, and that's one that I've written about cannabinoids, terpenes, and flavonoids, and done a deep dive into those, isolated the 35 most common found in the cannabis plant, and then looked at them from the level of scientific research that says what they're potentially beneficial for, and this way people can start to understand the real medicinal value of cannabis and why it works with the body. So yeah, I can get those out to the hippie, and he can forward them on to you with
That'd
no
be
charge.
awesome.
Yep.
Let me run a commercial. We can discuss that behind the commercial. Let's get the commercial out of the way so we can get some nano emulsification going on over here. We'll be right back. You're hanging out with the hippie and DoktorHigh, and of course our new friend and good friend Dabby from Little Boxes. We'll be right back. You're listening to WTHC.
Say bye-bye to bottled water. Holistic Health Water has certified medical-grade water ionizers that make 7 types of water, including healthy alkaline. There's a 5-micron filter that lasts up to a year, and each machine lasts 25 to 30 years. Simply attach to your faucet or install under your sink.
Talk.
Even get a mineral spa unit for
We're gonna
shower.
Let
No
me
talk.
talk
You
about
can
it.
talk during the
Get a
commercials
free
just
ebook.
up until
Plus,
the very last
pay for
second. Then
any
I gotta
machine
talk.
full and get an extra filter free.
But
Yeah,
I'm
I'm gonna go
gonna
let my dog out real
play
quick.
this, and then I'm gonna play a 420 song real quick,
Water.org.
and then we'll be back.
Okay, men.
Oh, that's
Maybe you notice this, that you're here now.
I love
You're
it.
going to go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you going to do? You're going to go grocery shop. Cook, clean. Be there emotionally and physically. You got to dig deeper. Right from the physical therapy. Doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. No, you won't. Because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself
How you
that
doing?
you're tougher than tough. Now go out there.
I'm good.
Be the best caregiver this world has ever seen.
I ain't seen you around
Caregiving is
these
tougher than
parts.
tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you
Careful,
by...
Dabby's known for being a relentless flirt.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick and proud aunt. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing. But not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. 1 in 6. That little girl sitting alone at the playground, she can't play like the other kids. She doesn't have the energy because she's hungry. School lunch will be her only meal today. It breaks my heart that this is the reality in our country, but it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. This food is then provided to families and
I
children
can't
in
reach
need.
my cart.
Being a kid should be about using your imagination, learning, and having fun. These children shouldn't have to miss out on simply being a kid because they're hungry. To find out how you can help end
see your
childhood
face.
hunger in your community, visit
Sit back.
feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's me, Mrs. Hibby. Check out Burn on TikTok at you.
Stacey Wilson in the
She's
house.
amazing, and everything she makes on TikTok
As a
is
Richardson says
at
so.
You Have Me
What's
Hooked.
You got a lot of people today.
You can watch her make
Yeah, they've
it,
been
and
coming
she'll
in and
make
out, yeah.
personalized stuff. So if you have an idea, like I would like this
Yeah,
thing
everybody
made,
wants to-
you can make it. She can make anything. She's an incredible artist. Check her out at You Have Me
That's
Hooked on
7-year-old
TikTok
just
and You Have Me Hooked 23 on Etsy.
WTHC, happy 420 to everybody over there in the Netherlands. This is
AKA Billy Blaze.
good morning, Matthew, Kelly, welcome in. Weira, thank you so much for being here. Heather, Andrew, Pete, Brian.
Hey, y'all.
I
How you
can't hear
doing?
anything when the music's on. I don't know if you guys can hear each other.
Rossi, Jack the Apostle, the lead. Smoke 'em if you got 'em. Big buzz to little crumbs broke up in the bottom. Feel like autumn leaves falling. Only problem needs solving is seeing who I'm calling for some trees to indulge in. Need to holler at Billy, he keep his head in the cloud. Bel Air Kush by the bush, wow. Screaming loud, still smoking, having nice dreams floating through space. So when they ask me how high, my reply, I'm half baked. Sir, smoke a lot. Doctor said I need a bacchiotomy. Prescribe me huckleberry and lemon cherry gelato, G. I take it back to rolling in the Optimo, blowing smoke out my nose, dropping ashes on my clothes till I doze off. I'm so fried, no lie. Got you afraid of heights, scared to look down.
DoktorHigh,
So
did you ever
high.
think you were going to be hanging out with the
It's like I
Muppets?
lit that shit in the
No,
You hit this shit.
no. How you doing, Matthew? It's good, Kelly. I want to ask you later how you like them. How they are.
Oh, yeah, we got to talk about that. She did a great job. She took your advice. And they had a sale, so she actually was able to get the half gram of whatever you called it, ballerina or something like
Yes.
that. And then she got a sativa half gram because it was 2 for $70.
Yeah,
Just
that's,
in the
yeah,
deal
that's
on
what
the
they have.
half gram.
$35 a half gram. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, and then she got the full gram of the other one that you told her to get for her.
Okay, that was the best deal, really. You know
Yeah,
what
I
mean?
told her to get 2 of those, but she still didn't listen.
Okay. Maybe got 3 different strains then, so that's fine.
World, give me beef, Bel Air Kush, give me mental control. L lit back roll, 5 hats told. The studio we roll, bring relief. We the musical, I need to know. Healthier than pill pop. Mother, give me herbs to fill spot. My medication can't to a kill shot. Many strands, lay hands in stressful situations. Out of all the girls in my life, Mary Jane, a reservation. Here at 23, raise your hands in liberation. A celebration, history free from information. Stand up, provide the right education. Show love, holistic cloud, politics throughout the nation. Making us stop debating Billy Blunt, stash, flavor, taste the weed.
Weed is all I need, so that weed
is all I
Doing great, thanks, Marcel.
Love you too, Marcel, my
Hope you're
man.
having a great day, also.
I hope you stop bleeding.
I can't see the comments, y'all, because I'm on a little device. So y'all tell me if y'all need.
I'll tell you if somebody says something.
Awesome. I know
Weira
my
said
people are
this is a nice flow. I agree, Weira. I'll tell you all about them right after they finish singing. They're almost finished. And then you got some people here hanging. Heather is newer, so I would think she's a friend of yours.
Hey,
Where
Heather.
I haven't seen before.
All right, we're going live. WTHC, we're back. That was Calligraphy. You guys can look them up. They're all over the place. They're getting bigger and bigger every day, and they gave me the rights, Facebook, you jerks, to play their music. So I have a little note in my paperwork over here that says, we give Da.Hippie the right to play the music. Damn it.
Yeah.
They took songs down yesterday again. I'm like, you sons of
Did they? You didn't play anything you shouldn't have.
I think the only one that I technically have somewhat of the rights to, but not really, is Hitman. And I'm sure he would be fine, but he hasn't written me the paper yet, so I can't really fight them on that yet.
Right.
But he said yes, but he hasn't given me the paper that says
Yeah,
yes.
I guess all you need is an email that you can forward on to.
Right,
Facebook.
yeah, that's it. I have it from everybody else, but he's the only one. And so him, the Hide the Weed song yesterday may have gotten me in trouble, but they already put it back up. It's already back up. Calligraphy is with a K. It's KALIGRAFE, Calligraphy. And the song is THC. They hit me up and they were like, hey, your radio station's called WTHC. And I was like, yes. And they were like, I like this song. And I was like, okay. And they sent it to me. And I said, I love that song. And they said, would you play it for us? And I said, absolutely. Would you give me a note saying that I can play it? And they said, absolutely. And then I had to sign papers for them saying that I wouldn't give it to nobody. And they signed papers for me saying that I could play it every day. And we have a beautiful relationship.
That's
anyway,
that's the way it should be.
Yes, and they have a new song coming out very soon. Like I think any day now. It might have already come out. They haven't sent it to me yet, and so I'm excited to start playing their new song as well.
Yeah, I love that. That's a great song. We did some videos last weekend, and I think a couple of them, like 10 minutes, was clipped out by Facebook.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even music we were playing. There were some kids in another room. It was ridiculous.
They're such jerks. But I want to, on behalf of Facebook, on a good note, they did write to me and say to all the DJs that they are working on it and that in the near future we are going to be able to play music on their platform. As long as we can prove that we are a DJ and we own a radio station, which I own too. So I'm good.
So you're good to go.
I'm good. Yeah.
Nice.
All right. So we got about 30 minutes before the next commercial. Let's get into whatever you guys want to talk about. I mean, I'm interested in it all, but I don't want to interrupt you.
I wanted to ask, before becoming a patient, were you a cannabis user, or was your diagnosis what brought you to explore cannabis as a potential therapy?
So here's the joke about me as a cannabis user. And Hippie already knows this, but I have the lowest tolerance in the history of ever.
Okay.
I do know that.
I used to use it, back in the day, college, whatever.
Right, right.
But these days, first of all, my fibromyalgia is strain sensitive. And so I cannot smoke a hybrid and enjoy it because that mixture of that head high and body high actually causes my nerves to fire and it causes pain. So I can either have a pure sativa or a pure indica, but only in a very small dose. Most of my personal medication is actually topicals. It took me a lot of studying and research to figure out what worked for me. And I actually, I work with quite a few medical patients now. And so we start with, what the problem is, and then we work our way through what strains will treat it and so on.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a job, but I have almost no tolerance.
We have to advocate for our own community. That's the problem, right? Because we don't have much advocacy going on for us in the medical community and in the pharmaceutical community or anywhere like that, right? We have to help each other.
I'm an advocate. I feel like I'm an advocate.
So little studies. Yeah, there's so little information out there that helps people. The only true experience or the only true knowledge comes from experience.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And it's through working with people and having these kind of conversations and
sharing the knowledge.
sharing the knowledge.
Absolutely. I mean,
we can find our way through.
if somebody
know?
had told me 2 years ago that having a little bit of sativa would actually help my attention deficit, I would have
Yeah.
laughed in their face, because you never think of, weed working to help an attention deficit, right? I'm
Right.
more into Dabby's voice now that the coffee's kicked in.
Right.
Um,
So
but
ADHD is one of the books you don't have yet.
oh yeah, no, I don't think so.
There's no surprise to me that you're finding success there.
I make a espresso sativa caramels, and my ladies call them clean your house caramels.
Oh, nice.
They love them. They're it's just a small, it's a microdose of sativa with some espresso,
Right.
and it'll get you going all day.
Nice. So that's a lot of limonene in there. A high limonene content.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, I work often from whole flower, so it kind of depends. So my business is kind of market dependent.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely, it would be. Is it easy to source good starting material, being that you're in a medical only?
Heather says, yes, they are wonderful.
Yeah, it's good. It's easy for you
Heather has tried my treat.
Oh, Heather has tried. Oh, nice. Excellent.
Yes, they are wonderful.
Right there.
Thank
Heather,
you.
That's the one thing I'm going to miss.
a second as she was running around the house now cleaning.
No.
She was like, let me stop now and write that really quick that they are great. Vacuum cleaner.
So, as far as sourcing materials, I'm very lucky because I do have access and work with distributors in other places and things like that. I also have my own in-house testing equipment.
Nice.
So I test every flower that comes through, so I know its actual THC strength as well.
Is that one of them new machines that I was just reading about this morning? They have a machine now that they can walk through the flower field and they can actually test the THC levels.
This one has been
It's
around
like
for a hot minute, and it's more for home people like me. So it's called
Yeah.
Check.
Yeah, this one looked like it was for bigger industry.
Yeah.
There's been a few that have come out. I can't recall the specific names off the top of my head right now, but I started seeing these home testers come out probably around 2014, 2015, where you'd break off a little piece of cannabis, you'd insert it into a small plastic cup, put it into this machine, it would gently warm it or do whatever it did with it, and it would send to an app the results of your testing. Now, in the beginning, they weren't very good, but they have gotten better. Now, if you spend $2,000 to $3,000 on one for your home now, you can get one that's really very, very good.
Correct.
So it's really about, when it comes to buying that technology for home use, you really do have to spend some money.
Oh, yeah.
And you have to do some research, because they're not all created equally, right? So as you know.
And I'm a little bit of a machine hoarder, so it's funny. As much as I try to get their attention, every probably top brand infusion machine, if I don't have it, I've used it. And I also have decarboxylation machines. I have an extract craft. I'm working on getting a nug smasher because I kind of want to be able to make some rosin in-house.
Oh, rosin's nice, especially because you're in
I
a
like
situation.
working with concentrates, but I want to make my own,
Well, yeah, and you want to go solventless if possible, and rosin's a great place to go. I personally did a lot of hydrocarbon extraction, BHO, but I've done rosin and ethanol and across the board, right outside of CO2.
Thank you, Lori.
So yeah, I'm familiar with that, but the rosin's really nice to make. The only caveat to rosin is, I think, as an individual making it for yourself, you need to have access to affordable product.
Correct.
Because it's a product that really doesn't maximize the volume from the plant, but it does give you one of the purest extracts, although there is some loss. But then you can take your chips afterwards and turn them into edibles, right? You can always extract them afterwards. So
that's the plan. Our next big purchase will probably be a nug smasher. I'm saving up to get the bigger one because I could get a little one now, but might as well get a bigger one. I could make more at one time.
Yeah, I think if you spend in the neighborhood of $2,000 to $3,000 on a hydraulic press like that, and trying to get 8x8 8-inch plate on there, should be
Yeah.
quite sufficient for. With an 8-inch plate, you can probably squeeze, 30 grams at a time. And
Yeah,
if you really want to maximize your rosin, you want the best rosin possible, you can do a quick water extraction first.
Mm-hmm.
For bubble hash, like a 5-minute wash, basically in a bubble magic machine. I don't know if you've heard of them or not, but they're like small clothing washers.
Oh yeah,
Small
I've seen
washers
those. Yeah.
Right. So you dump in some ice, you dump in your product in a bag, you let this go, you pull the hash first, and then you squeeze from the hash as opposed to squeezing from the flour. Because your returns can get up, especially when you do it just on that first run, you can get returns up to 90% of just the finest rosin there can
That's
be.
beautiful.
Yeah, so there are ways to do that. You would use like a harvest right freeze dryer in the middle of the process, right? So once you made your hash, you'd lay it out into the freeze dryer. You'd freeze dry that to remove all the moisture, and then pack it into the bag and squeeze from there. And that's
how creators on here often put star goals on their page, and people keep asking me why I have a 500,000 star goal. Not that I'm ever going to get that many stars, but it's because I want a freeze dryer badly.
Yeah,
because
they're both $5-6 grand. They're not cheap.
No, they are. They're about 5,000. And the other thing I've noticed is that freeze dried candy is real big right now, and there is not quite yet a market for freeze dried edibles, and I think it would be a really cool thing to do.
Well, this is the whole thing, right? It's about preservation of those core elements of the cannabis plant that are beneficial to our body: cannabinoids, terpenes, and flavonoids. The enemy to those things are oxygen, light, and temperature, right? Because that's where the conversion starts to begin. Terpenes are volatile; you lose them at low weight. The longer you go, CBN starts to come out of the process. That's why you adjust your decarboxylation time, right, to control conversion to CBN and things like that. So with the freeze drying process, especially from fresh frozen plants, it's ideal because you're working under vacuum, which is the removal of oxygen.
Oh yeah.
And you're working at minus 35, minus 40 degrees, which removes all moisture at the same time. So it's really the optimal preservation. And I can tell you, first run freeze dried full melt hash in Canada can cost you as much as $160 a gram.
That does not surprise me at all.
But it's the
I'll say it surprises me.
Well, I think I think between a nug smasher and a freeze dryer, those are my big goals this year. Well, my number one goal is we want to get we're looking for an old Airstream we can outfit and turn into our bakery, so we can make our bakery mobile, so we can go to festivals and recreational states.
Yeah.
And Dabby can make appearances elsewhere.
Like a food truck almost.
Yeah, kind of.
And it's awesome to be able to do that. Especially you take what you're doing very seriously. That's why you're testing at home, because you can't make a proper dose preparation if you don't understand how much you're working with in the meantime, right? If you're working with a strain that's 25% THC and you're doing your extractions into alcohol, you're going to get back pretty close to that 25%, 23%, ultimately when you're done the extraction process. And then you can go ahead and formulate your dosing from there. So it's really important.
Exactly. Then,
distillate is the best, but
I'm a huge fan of distillate, but being able to get bulk distillate is still something that's very hard on our market.
Right.
So, eventually I hope to get there.
Right, let me yell out really quick. Miss Ganji Lovers made it. Hi, Dabby, from her. Elvis, thank you so much.
How you doing, girlfriend?
Thank you so much for being here. We're hanging with Dabby from Little Boxes. And we, of course, have DoktorHigh, and we're talking nano emulsification. Oh, we haven't quite gotten there yet, but we're getting there. We're working our way there. We're working our way there.
You'll have to excuse me today, everybody, because when I'm in a conversation with somebody who's into the cannabis like I am and understands what we're talking about, I can get really lost. So,
Yeah, I'll
and,
try
you
to
know,
interrupt you too every once in a while and say
Okay.
stuff to the people over there in the chat. And I'm like, it's driving
Yeah,
me
my
nuts because
apologies
of my
today.
ADHD. I'm like, we can't forget them. We have to talk to them.
well, no,
I'm
we need to
losing my
talk to
mind.
them. They're our people.
I know. We
And
love
I
them.
love
We
seeing
love
that my
them.
people are here.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that too. I love that your people are my people. We're all the same 420
We're all
community.
fam.
Right. We're
Yeah.
all the same 420 community. So anyway,
That's it.
go ahead. I don't want to interrupt you guys any further. Go ahead.
I can tell you real quick my recipe for getting water solubility.
Yeah, I'd love to know.
Oh, I would too.
I actually learned this, and I was segueing to it before our break, but I learned this on one of them Facebook groups.
Okay.
People kept talking about weed powder.
Okay.
And then people said, I came home and my husband made me 5 pounds of weed powder today. And they got all excited. And I'm like, you can make this at home? What?
5 pounds of it? That's a lot.
Well, yes and no, because an ounce of like any extract can turn into a couple pounds easily of weed powder, because depending on how you're dosing it.
Really?
Oh yeah. So let me tell you how it's made, and then you'll understand why I say that.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you remember the old product that used to be on store shelves called Butter Buds?
Butter buds.
It was in the spice aisle, and people
Was
would
it a
sprinkle it.
potato? Was it a potato butter
Yeah,
like
people would sprinkle it on their potatoes or whatever. It
instead of
tasted like
butter?
Oh, okay. I've not seen that, but okay. I
I
understand
have.
what you're saying.
I remember it, sweetie. Yep.
So
Yeah,
it was
so that was
dehydrated butter?
actually, back in the day, that was actually powdered butter.
Yeah, desiccated.
Yeah, so basically, they did the same thing that I'm doing now. What you do, first of all, you know that maltodextrin and things like that.
Hold on. Let me interrupt for a second. Dabby, can you turn and tell little boxes she needs to sit back a little? She's starting to see your face.
Okay, let's see here. Let's just move that camera.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
I know
it's
you
all right.
just don't like to have your face on, and I don't want
Lots of
nobody
people
to.
are getting glimpses of me. I just don't. I'm not really down for still pictures. If someone wants to watch this video and learn from me, and they get a little glimpse of me, then good for them. Because I can't control it all the time, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, go for it. I'm sorry.
No, that's good. I appreciate it, and I definitely. And I can't. Because we're on StreamYard and I'm on my phone. Literally, I look like a 1-inch box to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're
So
yeah. Go
I
ahead.
cannot see what's peeking in
Yeah, I
the
did
picture
that the
other
other
than
week.
Dabby's lips. That's like literally all that I see from where I'm sitting.
That's funny.
You look great. You look fantastic. Now go ahead.
All
I
right.
apologize for cutting you off.
So you know that tapioca maltodextrin is basically water soluble, right?
Yeah.
All right. So here's how you make your weed powder. And you can or butter powder or whatever you want. You can take any extraction, but it works actually better with a fat extraction.
Okay.
I use an MCT oil extraction.
Yeah, MCT is one of the best at stripping the plant or taking
Correct.
the infusion, right? So yeah.
Right, you're going to get your highest extraction rate with
Yeah,
it.
yeah, exactly.
So I use an MCT oil, and if you have a 1/4 cup of your MCT oil extraction, however strong that might be, you start mixing tapioca maltodextrin into that at a high rate of speed, and you can use a blender or whatever. I use a food processor.
Yep.
Until it becomes a powder again. So you're going to use a lot of that powder for a little of that oil.
Right.
And it is going to absorb and uptake all of that oil. And that's it. You can sprinkle it on any food. You can put it in water. It is immediately water soluble.
And the absorption rate is probably pretty good because now you have effectively broken that molecule down into a size of a grain of powder.
Correct. And the cool thing is, so fat soluble edibles, you know this, they hit in an hour and a half to 2 hours just when you're ready to cuss them out and say they don't work, they start working.
Yes, exactly.
But water soluble, anything I make with this powder, it usually bioabsorbs and you start feeling the effects in about 15 minutes. And you feel it twice as strong.
Yeah, because the absorption. See, this is what a lot of people don't get, right? If you're taking a medical preparation of cannabis oil, your body absorbs a maximum of 20%. Some people absorb as little as 4%. So there's a 16% range in there that people are able to uptake cannabis in an oil preparation taken orally. But as soon as you nano-emulsify it, you get a 600% increase in bioavailability.
Correct.
Right? So now that's why nano-emulsion is so effective. Not only do you not waste this very expensive medicine, your body actually gets to utilize it to its full benefit.
Correct. And a little goes a long way. You can use half or a quarter of what you would use as a fat soluble, even though it started out as a fat soluble. It's really the coolest process. And so it can be done at home, and it's done easily at home. And it's just that easy. And, people use these nano emulsification machines or whatever in the labs, but all they're doing is they're doing the same thing I'm doing. You'd have to have a good, food processor or whatever to do it. But that's it. That's all they're doing. But you have to add so much of the powder back in until it turns into a powder again. That's why, maybe a cup of your infusion would turn into 5 pounds of powder.
Yeah, I get it.
Make your infusion as strong as you want it to be. So I usually tighter mine so that a teaspoon of that powder is 10 milligrams of a dosage.
And how many so just so I can understand, you would start with what weight of concentrate?
So I would start with
your regular process when you're making this.
I only make a little bit at a time. Although I have a few patients who need it, and I just got a good indica, so I can make some for Hippie here.
Right.
So I'm gonna make a bunch actually coming up soon. I'm just waiting for the maltodextrin to arrive.
Is that something you have to order specially?
Amazon.
What's that?
Amazon.
Oh, Amazon. Okay.
Yeah. So but in tapioca, maltodextrin works best. There are other forms, but tapioca is really where it's at.
Okay.
So what I usually do is I start with a quarter cup of my concentrate, and then I make the concentrate though, so that at least every quarter cup is about 2,000 milligrams.
Okay. So you can start this process with 2 grams of distillate.
Correct. And
Okay.
I often do for things that I want to be specifically dosed. I will use.
I'm just trying to understand how you arrive at 10 milligrams per teaspoon, because that's a really good dosing thing. For me, I like it because it's controlled, right? Because if I just got to go about my business through the day, I like maybe 20 milligrams.
Correct.
But if I want to sit down and enjoy some movies and really chill, I like 40.
Correct.
Right?
And your 10 milligrams of this, mind you, is going to feel like 20 because, again, it's water soluble.
Well, this is something I'd like to try.
So
absolutely.
Basically, you're going to I make my quarter cup of oil as strong. Basically, I figure out how many teaspoons are in a cup of powder. And I make my quarter cup of oil 10 times that, right? Or 20 times that, because I'm using 2 cups of powder to 1/4 cup of oil.
So, okay. So let's say you're starting with a quarter cup of oil with 2,000 milligrams of concentrate, or 2,000 milligrams THC.
Correct.
Okay. Now, by the time you've completed your preparation, what is the weight of your final powder? Like, what's the volume? How many doses? Let's put it that. How many doses would be?
I'm using about 2 cups of powder to start with, and then I keep adding powder. Sometimes it's really weird. I've noticed that certain oil preparations, and I think it depends on whether I start with flour or distillate, because the oil might, technically weigh a little more.
Yes.
So sometimes 2 cups of powder is just enough, and it does it. So then you just divide that by that 2,000 milligrams by however many teaspoons is in 2 cups of powder.
And do you know what that would be approximately off the top of your head?
right off the top of my head, I'm not sure. I think it's about 112 or something like that.
Oh, that's pretty good.
So,
Like even 100 is phenomenal because you're thinking, wow, I mean, that is a very inexpensive way
it's
to
super
maximize your efficiency.
correct. The big thing is when you're making a weed powder, you need to know how to make sure that your starting product, whatever fat you're emulsifying, because you can also emulsify your infused butters or whatever if you want to make a butter flavored powder. But I
Right.
prefer to do it with that MCT so it can be added to anything, even a bottle of water.
Well, that's it. And I would only work from MCT myself. And a lot of what I'm asking now is because you know damn well I have to try this.
Yeah. No, it's
Yeah.
cool. It's cool. You know, I told the hippie the first time we met that I wasn't gonna go too far into it, but that the next time we talked, I'd give him my recipe. So he's
Right.
got it now, but he's gonna get a sample of it, and so he'll be
I
good to try.
didn't write it down. Damn it.
Well, there's 2 ingredients.
No, it's a video. It's a video. I can go back and watch it.
Technically, because you got to concentrate also.
Right. I guess 3. Yeah, you're right. Because they're.
But that's really, and so by the time you're done the process, you don't even need to desiccate it because you've continued to add the tapioca maltodextrin to the point where it is back to its original consistency as far as moisture content is concerned.
Correct.
It's basically dry powder.
And the absorbency of that tapioca, for some reason, it removes smell. It is smellless and tasteless. Like literally, you can put.
Oh, some people really like that.
Oh, people love it because you can literally put it on anything. I get people who, I'm not saying that I've ever done this, but I get people who tell me that they'll get a coffee creamer bottle, and if they're traveling, they put it in their coffee creamer bottle, and they just bring their own coffee creamer with them because they can put a scoop in a drink.
Sure. Why not? Yeah, that's really
Why don't you think about it for a second here while I go look?
I feel like a kid who's discovered Santa Claus is real.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. While you're getting all jolly over there, I'm going to play a commercial, guys. You guys giggle and have fun. I'm going to play a commercial. We'll be right back. You're listening to Da.Hippie and Da.Hippie, and we got Dabby from Little Boxes. Thank you so much, Dabby, for coming by.
That is awesome.
Hey, hippie, look at this beautiful Christmas spirit from Bella's Badass Crystal.
Would KitchenAid be powerful enough to do it, or would it need to be a food processor?
Hippie.
It doubles as a worry stone.
You can really use
on the top of the mountain.
I think you could use anything. I have a really good food processor.
Mondays,
but I know people who use
Bella's
Vitamix.
Badass Crystals on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
They are badass.
Cool.
I would
Yeah, I
say
gotta
if,
try
you're using
this.
If you have a Vitamix or any type of
Badger Heart
blender,
Puppetry.
you can usually buy
Badger Heart
cups for them
Puppetry.
that are
Badger Heart Puppetry.
Yep.
You
And
need
they have their blades are slightly
We're just
different.
looking for
Buy one of those
cheese,
cups
right?
to put on your blender.
634-1534-1535. He has all your puppet needs. He can fix puppets, build
It's hard to
puppets,
hear over him now.
made puppets. Yeah, you guys best bets to wait until the music and shit's over.
Contact source.
This is usually when we smoke.
636-234-1535. We're on TikTok.
I'm taking my other drug right now.
Badger Heart
Nice.
Puppetry. You also
Yeah,
make
because you can just add it to your water. You can add it to a lot of things.
Adopt US Kids presents.
Uh-oh,
What to
he's
expect
telling the
when you're
nurse.
expecting. At
Nurse
Tutoring.
high.
Learning the lingo.
I wouldn't even know.
I am going to help parents translate
Wouldn't
tweets.
even know. Nobody would know.
When teen says something is on fleek.
The good news is we still got plenty of time to talk about it, unless, of course, Dabby has to go. But
Another
We're
one
good.
yeah, then we got plenty of time to get into this even further.
Mr. Little Boxes actually went into work early today.
Another word you might hear.
I can't hear a word you're saying, sweetie.
Jelly is a shorter version.
If it's bad for you, just think it's even worse for me because I got this guy yelling in my ear as well.
You don't have to speak to
You guys are like the same volume as the guy on the radio.
Will think you're rad.
So it's
just
like
the
I
same.
can't hear nothing.
To learn more, visit
Nothing.
We're gonna play a song and we'll be right back.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department
This
of Health and
is
Human
I'm
Services,
gonna shout it out.
Adopt
so.
U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman.
Welcome in, everybody. Good morning. Thank you so much for stopping in. Please share it out and let everybody know that this is one of the shows on television. Did you see all the actors are now going on strike as well? This is going to be wonderful. Television is going to be great. I'm going to be a star. We're going to be stars, Dr. High.
It's our opportunity to shine.
Yeah, we're going. We're going to be on TBS. We're going to be on ABC. We're going to be the new nighttime summer spot.
Just need their own station, WTHC.
Everyone knows
yeah, WTHC television. All the actors, all the writers, everybody, they're done. They're like, we're not doing this shit no more.
Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources
at
aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
WTHC, good morning, everybody. I got to play a song because this is my opportunity to play all of our friends that have sent me wonderful music, busting their asses every day, trying to get out there and make it. These guys are called the Freedom Renegades. They're also known as Holistic Meditation. This song is Bounce. Everybody bounce. Come on, Dr. High. We got to get you to dance a little more.
Oh, yeah? I don't do those kind of drugs anymore, hippie.
Yes, you do. Every morning you take mushrooms.
Oh, yeah, I'm due.
Did you take your mushrooms yet today, sir?
I do that every morning, too. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, I've been taking them for a month. I'm falling in love with them.
No, you bounce enough in the back room, young lady. Or he's a bouncer.
You know, I just got puppet legs, so I can really dance.
I know Hippie has a problem like that with his hands sometimes too.
What do I do?
You have a problem with your fingers. They can't do much for you.
No, they don't. I don't get to do nothing. I miss out on all the fun.
My hands actually have magnets in them, so I can hold.
I can't hear you guys.
Oh, that's cool.
All I hear is bounce.
Come and bounce with me, baby. Hip hop's my damn thing. I don't need to pop blocks away some thick chain. I hop up on stage and you never see me panic. Maybe fake is moving mountains, but my pen is moving planets. I am to hip hop.
Every day, I forget to fill my vape right before the show, and then every day, halfway through the show, I'm like on the verge of burning my coil.
We might have to do a special episode just for that, Lori.
Triple D bounce. Rasta Rhino in the house.
She says she needs a screen so she can bounce.
I'm created and celebrated the nature of my being, liberated, accelerated expression of the king, manifested as the universe and nothingness is seen.
This type of freedom got me brainless. Universe filling this emptiness. It's a habit I can't convince it to make you bounce high. I don't wanna escape it. Word from the atmosphere I'm placing. This is me, this is us, it's all you bounce.
I'm devoid of uniqueness, absolute completeness, beyond the manifest. I'm causeless and I'm ceaseless, the source of everything superimposed this location. I'm the silence of the everything before its vibration. Nothing
it's a triple D bounce, yeah.
The nature of my genius paradox.
More like a F or a G. She can pretend it's a D.
The mystery will kill. I'm deeper than the ocean, but more shallow than the kiddie pool. I'm darker than a hole, the black but lighter than a skinny fool. I'm present as the universe and everything.
Right, I'm in business. I can vape again.
I'm the essence, the source.
Why was your battery dead?
No, the juice. I almost ran out of the juice again. Yes, she tried to make a jump video where they were on a pissed off because TikTok was giving them a hard time about saying the word boobs. So the girls were all on a rage. Well, the girls in my group are our friends and family. So they were going to make a Van Halen jump video with no bras on. I talked them into that. But then they all jumped and they said their damn nipples almost fell off. And they said that's not good, especially when you have bigger boobs.
Gravity, eh? Gets us all in the end.
The nipples right off.
Gets us all in the end. That
Going live. Going live. WTHC, that was Holistic Meditation, otherwise known as the Freedom Renegade. You can find them on all the platforms. They kick ass. I love them. I've had them on the air. I hope to have them on again in the near future. Until then, I'm going to play their music every day. They are awesome. Bounce. Holistic Meditation. We're hanging with Dr. High, and of course we have Dabby from Little Boxes. Dabby and Little Boxes are here, right? Is that how it works? Is it Dabby and Little Boxes? Dabby. Are you stoned? I can't hear you again.
You can't hear, no.
Not again. Don't you yell at me. I didn't do it. You did it.
It'll come back.
There she goes.
It'll come back.
So, Dr. High, well, she's gone. What do you think? Is she crazy?
No. Brilliant.
Oh, is this genius or what?
Yeah.
I know.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
I know.
Love to learn something new.
Did we hear you?
Something that's so beneficial and useful.
Still can't hear you, though.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yes. It helps when you talk, yes. I'm like, yes. Oh.
The lady with her hand up my ass, one of her clients called, and we keep trying to tell people we're not available during certain times, but it messed up our sound.
Yeah, it does it all the time on me. I ended up turning off all notification. I don't get nothing anymore until never. I just look at my phone every 2 minutes until I see that somebody called or something, and then I'm like, all right, I can call them back. Anyway, go ahead, Dr. High. I'm sure you got a million more questions since I have no idea what you guys are talking about. I heard a blender.
Yeah, I was just wondering if it was.
I have one of them. That's
the most
whatever they're called.
The most important part of this of the blender to make that emulsion or whatever you want to call it.
Blender, food processor, anything like that.
Everything's good. Oh, good.
I recommend if you get one of those good blenders like a Blendtec or a Vitamix or something like that, they usually come. Yeah, they usually come with you can order separately a dry cup, things to make like people use to make nut flours and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I make my nut flour all the time in there.
So if you use that, it will actually help because it's got special blades.
Okay. Yeah, because you'd want the right type of blade really to do that sort of preparation.
Correct.
That's so cool, though.
Making that powder is kind of like eating an edible. You'll keep adding powder, and it'll drive you crazy because you'll think, is it ever going to turn back into powder? And just when you're about done with it, it turns back into powder. It's really weird to watch it.
Yeah, no, like that's kind of cool.
Time out. I got to ask a question here because I want to participate and pretend like I know what I'm talking about. Like light fluffy powder?
Yes. Super light fluffy powder.
Smudgy dab-like stuff.
It's going to be like a tapioca flour, right?
It would be exactly like the tapioca flour by the time you're done with it.
Yeah, which is like a fine baby powder.
Correct. And so but you got to keep adding because the way any maltodextrin works is it's an absorbent that will absorb whatever it's put in.
Right.
And again, the reason you want that tapioca one is just because it makes it smellless, tasteless, and I find that it's a little bit more bioavailable.
Which is amazing. I think that's incredible.
All right.
That people can do that at home.
I don't think a lot of people know Dr. High.
I'll try to send you some links to those edible maker groups because honestly, somebody with our knowledge level, they're good for them. I would say my page is better for the average person if they want to learn,
And that's where I really focus. Like I could do what I do on the intellectual level in the cannabis industry with almost anybody, right? But it's not cannabis knowledgeable people who need to learn about cannabis. It's the people
he deals with me every day.
Like your background, right? You got high a little bit in high school. You went on to have your career and your life and everything went on. And then a little later on, you found that you're in a situation where cannabis might actually help improve your quality of life, right? So you come back to it. But the thing is, there's been this big gap. And back when you were in college and when I was this age and that, cannabis was seriously frowned upon, right? And all the information was out there. Like it was the Nancy Reagan just say no time.
Absolutely. And, it's funny. I was in college in the, I guess, early 90s.
We won the war on drugs.
It was really a hard time because everything was just so bad,
Yeah.
And so it's really interesting to get, like, I feel like I'm at this, because I'm like firmly rooted in Gen X for me, but I feel like I'm at this weird crossroad because I'm trying to educate a younger crowd, and I'm also trying to help medical patients in my crowd,
older crowd.
So
the crowd that was frowning upon us, the crowd that told us no. Now they're all begging for the help. Now they're like, "Whoa, with this stuff."
Well, they're not. They're just confused. People are confused, right? Because they hear these things about cannabis, but they've been told these things about cannabis forever. And plus, there's the stigma. What would my children think? What would my employer think? What would people at my church
sitting
think?
here as a puppet, right?
Yeah, exactly, right? So this is really a problem because there's a ton of evidence out there now that although it hasn't been studied to the point where we can say that cancer really can cure, or that cannabis can cure anything, or can have a massive impact on the direction of any individual medical condition, there's plenty of evidence out there that suggests that cannabis can be beneficial when combined with traditional treatment for many things.
Oh, absolutely.
So
one of the best things that happens.
Somebody's calling.
One of the best
phone calls.
No, at this time I was able to fix it quickly. But one of the best things I think that happens for me is that moment when I get someone, and I'm thinking of one person in particular, but I've actually got two right now. I have one lady whose husband is a cancer patient. And when I get those messages saying, first of all, you're an amazing baker and I love your food, but second of all, he's been able to eat this week. And we can't remember the last time he did that. I know I'm doing the right thing, and I don't give a fuck what anybody says about cannabis, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
All about quality of life.
That's what matters.
I have another person right now, and actually what I'm going to start doing with as new people, specifically medical patients, come to me, because I help, I always say that the back door to my bakery is wide open for any medical patient. In fact, sometimes medical patients come to me through followers on my page. I call them my OGs. And sometimes they're just really cool people on my page. And we actually send out sample boxes sometimes just because we want to help certain people, or we want certain people to be able to try our goods, because we can't sell them, right? So we just send out love because we can send out love.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
and that's in time of it's real tough. You get these diagnoses, and some of these things are horrible to have to live with. So help somebody find even
what
just
I'm gonna start doing with my newer people is I'm going to work in conjunction with my friend, the cannabis nurse, and I'm going to have them consult with her.
Yep.
So she can give them kind of a holistic treatment plan, and then I am after talking to her, going to try to make designer edibles for them.
Right.
That's not all I do, though. I also do, I don't know if you know this or not, but we're starting to do fully infused dinner parties and things like that. So I'm going to be able to, I can fly anywhere thanks to Mr. Littlebox's job.
Okay.
So I'm going to actually start offering classes for medical patients where I will come to them for a couple days and teach them at least the basics of how to do their infusions.
That's phenomenal. That's what people need to know, because people don't understand how easy it is. It's really easy. It's really, really easy. So
I feel like I can go and offer those classes.
Can I interrupt for a second?
Yes, sir.
So like if I just using as an example, say my good friend over here in my neighborhood, her husband just got diagnosed with cancer and he's having issues. Maybe it's I don't want to pick a cancer, but anyway, you would come to them if they could afford it, of course, and you would come and help them learn to make their own edibles to help him be comfortable. Is that what I'm understanding?
I would come and and not just teach them about edibles, but I'll also teach them about different kinds of tincture. I will teach them about how to do the powder. I will so that they can turn because you can sprinkle that on any food, right? Just keep it in a salt shaker.
I was going to say that powder that you're talking about, the one that you and Dr. High were just talking about, is that something that you can just sprinkle like salt?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can
And
put it
just
on
eat
any
it on my
fish or any
steak.
bread.
I can just
put it
put it
into a
on my
bottle of water.
I
Yep.
can just put it on my steak and eat it. And it'll
Yep.
make
You
me
know, it's
hot.
funny. Companies are charging $10, $15 a pop for infused water now, and I think about because I know exactly how they make it, and I think to myself, what's in each of those bottles is probably 2 teaspoons of my powder.
Yep.
You know, it's
Yep.
it's crazy.
No,
But
yeah, because some of the people who spend time with us here and Hippie himself, they want to go to the dispensary. So I'm willing to open up their own dispensary and look through and help them find the best value for money. And as I've been doing that, I've been kind of overwhelmed. I've seen distillate at $130 a gram being sold.
so let me tell you.
It blows my mind what they're doing.
Let me tell you.
Her state ain't any better.
Let me tell you. I mean, you know, it's I'm able to give my business and myself that air of legality, right? Because of what I do, my certifications, things like
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
But here in the state that I'm in, say you want a 1 gram distillate vape cartridge,
Yep.
$95.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what it's like
see
here.
that. I
mean-
looked for somebody yesterday, and they were selling a 0.5 distillate cartridge for $65. A 0.5.
Yeah, they sell a pen that has little it's like the PAX pen,
Yep.
and it has little pods that you can put in it, and those
Yep,
are
yep,
half
yep.
gram pods, and they're
Quick pods, eh?
$75.
Yeah,
$75 for a half gram pods.
It's robbery. Like to get to distillate, right? There's man effort that's involved because first you have to do your original extraction, whether it be by hydrocarbon, by alcohol, by CO2. But going by CO2, if you're going to distill, there's no point because then you still have to go into the alcohol anyway.
Right.
So you really, you know what I mean? You're either doing a closed loop extraction or you're going to do an ethanol extraction and to come down to the distillate. So there is some work involved. But I know that distillate can be made. Here in Canada, we have something called the Canadian Cannabis Exchange.
Uh-huh.
And it's a B2B exchange that works with the licensed producers in Canada. Because let's say one licensed producer has a crop that they can't get into. The problem is here, you can be a licensed producer, but not be licensed to sell your product in the marketplace. Not have a business to consumer sales license. So you can have a cultivation license, a processing license, a B2B license, but not necessarily a B2C license. It takes a long time. Out of 100% of the companies in Canada that are producing cannabis and concentrates and all of that legally, less than 30% of them can go direct to market with their products. So they need somebody to white label. They need a pathway to market.
Oh, yeah.
So Canadian Cannabis Exchange provides this service, right, of getting producers who will let them know what product they have available. And then they have other producers who might be able to utilize that product to make their own products or whatever. But I know there, you can buy a gram of distillate. You can buy a kilogram of distillate for about $700.
And see,
so
I would give anything to get my hands on that kind of distillate. Around here, we can get it's I guess it would be so it's in liter, it's milliliters. I can get a liter of distillate, but the lowest market price I've found here is $5,000 on that.
For a liter, that's $5 a gram. So
yeah,
it's actually quite reasonable. You know what I mean? Like this is what I would have expected to pay as a regular person, right? What the numbers when I'm talking at $7 a gram, I'm talking what businesses can do here in Canada. But as an individual on the street, that's actually
medical pricing for doctors. You know, we'll call it the street price, even though it's that something like that's not on the street. But I know I hate using that term. The retail price on something like that. I actually had a doctor come to me and wanted to go in with me, halvesies on it, and the retail price on something like that was $15,000.
Oh, I would think. Let's say you add some terpenes and make vape cartridges. So if you make a 0.5 of a gram vape cartridge, add it in with terpenes, you're going to get somewhere in the neighborhood of 2,000 cartridges.
Oh yeah, no, I know you can get a lot out of that.
You know what I
I
mean?
do the math.
Yeah,
and
that's
for as many milligrams.
100,000 in America.
Oh yeah, no, for as many milligrams of special ingredients, we like to call them, as we would get out of that liter, that $15,000 investment would yield $100,000 profit, right? It's definitely a good turnaround, but for people in a cottage industry like me, it's untenable. Like, I keep trying to just find a place where I can get an ounce of it, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Me too, sister.
No, but it's a good starting point, especially when you're doing the water soluble stuff. It's the perfect beginning point, really. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty lucky because a lot of people who do move cartridges and things like that around here, whenever there are faulty product, sometimes I'll get a whole batch of cartridges and I'm able to yield the distillate out of them.
Okay. That's got to be a bit of a process getting it back out. I've put it into about 100,000 of them, but I never really tried to take it out of any. So I can imagine
it's actually pretty easy if you're using alcohol, not so much if you're using oil.
Oh,
so using alcohol, you just drop them in the.
You're really extracting them, right? So yeah, exactly. Oh, that's okay though. So you were saying that you're going to work with your cannabis nurse friend. She'll create care plans for people, and then you'll try and do custom preparation for them.
And we'll talk about that right after this commercial break.
Okay.
We'll talk about that right after this commercial break.
Sounds great.
Be right back. You're hanging with Da.Hippie and DoktorHigh, and we have Dabitha?
Yeah, her full name is the Lavender Lady Dabitha G. Liddyfield. We had a contest, so.
Nice.
She said it, not me. We'll be right back.
Proud to be a stoner, Lori wants to hear.
Badger Heart Puppetry. Badger Heart Puppetry. I can't play that. I don't own the rights to
Contact Sorge at 1-636-234-1535. He has all your puppet needs. He can.
I can play it, but we'll listen to it. But then it'll be taken out of my show, and nobody will be able to hear it the whole time we're playing it.
Contact Sorge today.
Yeah. Don't leave it out.
Yeah, I'd rather just play my friends, the people that send me music.
Facebook at Badger Heart Puppetry.
I just need more THC related songs from some of these.
Man, who was that guy you played yesterday that sounded like he could have been from the 60s or the 70s or the 80s?
We'll be ready in just a minute.
Scotty Crosby, the
your laundry will be ready in just a minute.
Trucker guy that
I think so.
Laundry will be ready in just a minute.
Yeah, Scotty Crosby.
I like Doug's song too a lot.
Why don't you take a minute?
Yeah, Doug's song will be on. I'll play it.
When you help care for a loved one,
Muck Sticky might have been the one that got me in trouble. I don't know who got me in trouble. It was either Hitman or Muck Sticky yesterday, so I'm going to try to avoid both of them.
At AARP,
Its Life can definitely be played.
Tips on how you can maintain a healthy life balance. Care for your own physical.
I don't want to play long songs though. Its Life is like a 5-minute long song. I love it.
The better care you take of yourself,
but that's like eating up 5 minutes of time that we could be hanging with my sexy friend Dabby down there and my handsome friend Mr.
And you know, I'm awake enough to get all Dabby
AARP.org
and let you know how sexy you are.
Public service announcement brought to you by AARP.
The word you're saying. I don't know what you're saying, but I love you.
We actually have Lil Dabby merchandise coming.
Let's hear what everyone did this weekend.
Nice.
Well, I raised my older sister.
I heard something about a giveaway or something you were doing, right?
My mom said
I did a huge batch of giveaways for 710 to support other creators in the community.
I saw something about that. Yeah, very cool.
That did really well, and now I'm gonna do one where we sell raffle tickets because I want to help another creator who's struggling to raise a little money. And so we're gonna sell raffle tickets for a chance to get the first little bag of Dabby dollars.
Where were you, Jill? Yeah, we
Always love to hear good songs, Lori.
Not that far.
I'm a music lover.
Anyone want to come this weekend? Ask your parents to take you and your friends to the forest this week and find the fun, adventurous you. It's closer than you think.
Write to
Check out
Facebook and say, stop taking their shit
Brought to you by
down.
the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Hey, Hippie, look at this beautiful crystal
Get in
sphere I
trouble
got from
for
Bella's
this
Badass
sometimes if I let it play too long because of the music in the background.
OMG, Hippie.
It doubles as a worry stone.
Bella's Badass Crystals is on the top of the mountain in Dauphin, PA.
You can also check out their sales. They have mini Mondays and twice a day Tuesdays.
Find Bella's Badass Crystals on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
They are badass.
WTHC, happy 420 to everybody over there in the UK. We're going to sing Cock-a-Doodle-Doo. There's a rooster in the house.
Yes.
There's a rooster in the yard and he's singing cock-a-doodle-doo. Yeah, he's sounding pretty healthy, bet he makes a pretty hearty stew. We ain't got no chickens, we got no hens. Let me tell you what we got, my friend. We got a rooster in the yard and he's singing cock-a-doodle-doo. Cock-a-doodle-doo. Eat a cock, eat a cock. Any cock will do. Now the rooster's in my house and the pussy don't know what to do. Staring up the living room, the dogs are getting in on it too. I've been watching all day, kitties stalking that prey, but it's pretty clear to me they're not trying to play because the pussy's on the cock and he's singing cock-a-doodle-doo. Cock-a-fucking-doodle-doo. Eat a cock, eat a cock. Any fucking cock will do.
Any fucking cock will do.
WTHC, good morning, everybody. It is still morning. Happy 420 to everybody over there in the UK. It's 11:20 over here on the East Coast, 10:20 Central, 9:20, 8:20 over there on the West Coast. Good morning. Time to wake and bake if you're just getting up. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm the hippie. That's DoktorHigh, and that's Dabitha something.
You just called me a little dabby.
Little Dabby down there. All right, so you guys get back to it. I'll fall back.
Have you seen Dabby on the Netflix show Disjointed?
No.
So there's
you said something about it the other day. I'm gonna have to check it out.
Yeah, that's where I thought maybe it came from, right? There's a show with what's her name? Kathy Bates. She owns a dispensary. So it's
cool.
It's the whole show is around the dispensary and the people who work in the dispensary, and it's like a regular sitcom. And it's called Disjointed, but they have a character in there called Dabby. So that's where I thought it might have come from, you know.
So we did a name the puppet contest, and my friend that I told you about, the cannabis activist, the Hybrarian, she came up with Dabitha, and the reason I picked that one is because we could do a play on Lil Debbie treats with Lil Dabby treats.
Yeah.
We also, if you remember the old movies, Debbie Does. So we have some Dabby Does edibles logos.
Debbie Does Dabby? Yeah. That's an old one.
Yeah, so we can use that name to do a lot of fun things. And
Dabby Does dildos.
yeah, we got Dabby Does bongs, Dabby Does edibles, things like that.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. So I want to get back to the customized edibles. Have you looked at, when you're making this water soluble powder, you can do so many things. You could actually use specific terpenes to target specific things. And have you looked at those sort of avenues for when you're doing personalized preparations?
I am just getting into looking for looking or playing with, I guess, terpenes. Often when I first started making the powder, I just made it directly from whatever flower I wanted to use to get the terpenes I wanted, right? But I've started looking at playing with terpenes, like getting a concentrate that's free of them, and that way I could kind of adjust my preparations. So I'm kind of working my way through teaching myself how to do that and making sure I have the right amounts and so on.
Yeah, basically what you can do, there is a place in Florida. It's called the Terpene Store.
Okay.
I've purchased a lot of terpenes from them. Now they're fruit derived, but that doesn't matter because terpenes are terpenes. They're actually molecules, right? So limonene is limonene, whether it comes from a cannabis plant or comes from a lemon. You know what I mean? It doesn't really matter. It's about so they've isolated not only the terpenes as far as limonene, myrcene, beta-carotene, pinene, linalool. You can buy them individually like that, and they're only $10 a milliliter, so they're not expensive.
That's awesome.
They have hundreds of strains of cannabis that they have analyzed and pre-prepared the terpene profiles in pre-prepared mixes. Right? So
check that out.
Yeah, you could go in there and buy a blueberry. You can go buy a super lemon haze. You could go in there and buy, you know what I mean? So you can just get the terpene profiles.
It's funny.
When you say go in, do you mean online? You can go
online.
in?
Yep,
okay,
online.
Because
I ordered it all online.
She's close to Florida, but she's not in Florida.
Well, they were able to ship to Canada because I was buying them when I lived in Montreal quite often. So, yeah.
What was the name of the place? Did you skip that part?
The Terpene Store.
The Terpene
really
Store.
that simple. The Terpene Store.
Write that down, Dabby.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be checking that out. So it's interesting. One of the people who supplies me with ingredients, he keeps asking me to make things with a certain strain for him, but he keeps bringing it to me in wax form. And one thing I've noticed is that is the worst concentrate ever to cook with. I can decarboxylate it and cook with it like anything else, but for some reason, no matter what I make with it, it wears off in 2 hours. So where, one of my gummies would normally, somebody would be feeling the effects for 4 to 6 hours.
Right.
Not with this wax. It's the weirdest thing ever. It's like you get that elevation. The dose is definitely right, but it wears off right at 2 hours. So I might try to get the terpenes for the strain he likes and make it with something else.
Yeah, terpenes are interesting because they actually can act as a solvent also.
Yeah.
When I first started playing with these things, there was a guy in British Columbia. I cannot remember his name off the top of my head. It was unique, and he's quite well known, but he was actually doing closed loop extraction with D-limonene as the solvent.
Oh, cool.
So the concentrate that came back from that looked like a piece of crack cocaine. It did. It looked just like it. It was that same.
We don't talk about Bruno.
Brown color, but it had the consistency of a wax. But the terpene flavor was out of this world. I paid $125 for a gram, and I thought I was out of my mind for trying it. But I'll tell you, it was one of the most flavorful concentrates I've ever tasted. It was incredible. So you can use, like if you're making a vape cartridge, instead of having to add, let's say you're starting off with a shatter or a rosin, you can actually add terpenes, and the terpenes will liquefy that enough to be accessible to the coil. So you don't actually even have to add oil or anything like that. You can do it distillate, you can do it with shatter, you can do it with rosin, because it actually works as a solvent too. So they're really interesting to play with. The flavors can be pretty intense. So with edibles, I don't know, but if the tapioca maltodextrin is able to eliminate the odor and flavor profile, then you'd be able to get all the benefit of that terpene without the.
Yeah, I'd have to play with that and see how that works. I bet it would work fine, but
I think it would look fine.
Because I know it does it even with extractions directly from flower that still have a whole lot of flavor profile. So,
yeah, well, you'd be simply doing the same process, right? Because the terpenes are like an essential oil, and the oil that you're using is like an essential oil too, right? Whether you're working from flower extraction or whatever. So, yeah, I can see it working really, really well together. And I think
I've actually been making a lot of like RSOs and FICOs with my extract craft machine.
Okay.
So yeah, we can get down to that essential oil level.
Yeah. So you've used Levo, you've used Magical Butter, obviously. Extract craft, I'm not familiar with.
Levo I never got into because I didn't like with the original versions the size limitations. But I have currently on board right now. I have an Ardent, I have FX, I have the Magical Butter machine, I have the Butter Brewer, which is becoming my favorite, and not just because I know the lady who invented it, but it's really cool. You can do a lot in it. You can decarboxylate, you can make things in it, and you can even cook a full meal in it. It's about the size of a crock pot, and it stirs and it gently stirs your contents, and you can leave it on for 8 hours at a time, so it's not time limited, and it doesn't emacerate things like other things.
Right. So it's like a better version of a Magical Butter machine because it has a decarboxylation aspect also.
Correct. So
and a larger volume.
That one's real neat. And then I have the Extract Craft, and then like I said, my next two machines, I'm looking for a freeze dryer and a nug smasher. So.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, that'll take a couple of bucks to accomplish, but you'll have some fun with them once it's done, because that'll open you up to being able to do water extraction.
Correct.
Once you have that freeze dryer, then you'll be able to make bubble hash really easy.
Oh,
and you can actually work your way through, different timed runs and pull out different quality of products from each one at varying levels. Like a short first run, you can be pulling 90% THC from, and then a minimum runs you can be pulling in the 40s where your regular hash would come. And that's good for people who are in pain and need that body stone. Mm-hmm. The hash is really good for the body stone when you use that inside your edibles. And so there's some really cool things you can do, and it's great to actually have this time to talk with you about what you're doing. I love it.
It's great to be here. The hippie family is we're good friends, and we love.
This is Hippie and her talk just about every day. I think I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Mrs. Hippie is a dear friend.
Yeah, she's okay.
No, it's excellent to have this platform and opportunity to try and teach people.
Yeah.
Yes, this is awesome. I hope you guys have been learning stuff out there. I haven't.
Does anybody out there have any questions?
Because I don't have any idea what the hell you guys have been talking about. All I know is I like the sounds of getting doubly high for a longer amount of time. And
I think that might be the only edible that works for you because you're missing that C2P9 enzyme.
Yeah, even, and we can talk about that for a second. Even the distillant that I tried this week. I mean, the first time I felt something, but then the other day I did a half of a gram, so a quarter of a gram on a slice of pizza, and I just ate it up and nothing. I didn't feel anything.
Well, and it might have been that it was on that slice of pizza, and because you are deficient in that C2P9 enzyme, and it was still going through your liver that way. So I think trying things that are going to bioabsorb in other ways is going to work for you. Also, I recently made a ton of keef honey where I left the actual keef in it.
Oh, nice.
And that one hits hard and strong. Actually, for the 4th of July, I did whole infused beef briskets with that injected with that honey.
Yeah, I was watching the videos. Damn it.
Are you currently making educational videos for people? Because you're talking about traveling around the country doing these seminars and that. If you're able to make the videos of the process, you could reach so many more.
Oh yeah, no. So what we're gonna start doing, and we're working on a content schedule, but
Okay.
I'm gonna do like Da.Hippie does videos where Da.Hippie does, like Da.Hippie will do extraction, Da.Hippie will do this, and those will be short videos with a broad overview.
Nice.
Then we will offer eventually we will offer a subscription where people can get the woman with her hand up Da.Hippie's ass, and I'll even send them a shopping list of what to have, and I will walk them through on a live stream how to actually do things in much more detail.
Oh, that's perfect.
And then we'll also offer the in-person classes. And we're also going to we also do fully infused dinner parties and functions. And so whenever people can get a group of 10 or more together, we can go and do those as well.
No, that's the way to do it, especially it's different for a dinner party. You're doing each course of maybe, 2 milligrams here, 6 milligrams there. You know what I mean? You're spreading it out. So really, basically, any food you create can be infused.
Oh, absolutely. And when I do a dinner party, everything's microdosed. So by the end of the meal, they've had the equivalent of one of my strong ass brownies, right? But they can eat as much as they want. One thing I learned, a lot of people were trying in California and Colorado and places like that to do these dinner parties, and they were failing because people were overdosing the food.
Right.
And so one thing I've learned is to microdose it, and then I put a lot of sauces and things like that out so that people can adjust their own dosages. But I also always bring my homemade CBG oil because that'll pull you back if you get too far in.
That's right.
And so I bring that, and I also bring CBD simple syrup that I provide with drinks and things like that, so that it'll slow people down in their high, so that they can really enjoy the whole process and remember it.
Yeah, exactly. You balance it out, CBD, THC, and they together they can keep things just on the right path. People don't realize you don't need a massive dose. Some do. Like, it's very weird with edibles. I've been using cannabis for 45 years now. And I'm close to 300 pounds. My wife's been getting high as long as she's been with me. So let's say 26 or 27 years now. She's more along the lines of 110 pounds. I take 40 milligrams to get really nice and high. She could take 100 and say, I feel it, but it's not great. So edibles are really funny, right? Everybody is very individualized as to how.
Oh, it is very much. The same guy who wanted me to cook with the one strain is constantly telling me this needs to be stronger. This needs to be stronger. And so we had to sit down and have a talk about, first of all, no, it doesn't need to be stronger. That's your personal tolerance. I have to make things a safe dosage, and then people are welcome to eat more, right?
Yeah, because you're batch preparing. You're not making one brownie at a time, right? So you're preparing batches, and you just simply increase the number of portions you consume if you need to increase your dosage. Simple.
And the other thing is, I know a lot of people, I think especially people in his position, sometimes just taking that tiny little tolerance break makes all the difference. I've had people who wanted, milligram edibles in the hundreds of milligrams, and something happened. They couldn't smoke or eat anything for a few weeks, and they came back and 10 milligrams knocked them off their ass.
Yeah.
So, it really sometimes just taking that little tolerance break can make all the difference.
Or switching up your method of ingestion.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like you kind of got to look at the variety. There's multiple ways of achieving the same result.
I do find that people who take a full tolerance break where they're away from it for at least a week, they'll come back with a tolerance sometimes as low as mine.
Wow. That's nice. That's good.
When you mention the ingesting it in different ways, that's definitely something as well. Taking it from smoking it flower, but also doing it at the right temperatures, learning to do it appropriately, because I've been dabbing for quite some time now inappropriately and not getting those beautiful flavors that I've now started to learn because I really didn't have any clue what I was doing. And And
Oh,
now
yeah.
DoktorHigh has taught me to do it at a lower temperature. And the flavors are just amazing compared to when I was burning the shit out of it.
I very rarely smoke, but lately I've been using a dry herb vaporizer that actually has a variable temperature so that I can lower the temperature and get a lot more flavor, which is really nice. And then last weekend, I actually, we were with one of our puppet friends and we made a hookah. And we filled it up with shisha, and then we added flour directly to it, and we also added wax to it.
Yep.
And that was a beautiful experience. That one hookah bowl lasted both of us 2 days. But
it's
it
so
was
easy
very
on
nice.
the lungs.
Yeah.
So easy on the lungs in comparison because wax and
it was the best way I've ever seen to get wax without killing yourself over it. It was so
there's an
nice.
intensity to it, right? That's just
and I had rose and coffee flavored shisha, so it was like sucking on a rose latte. We loved it.
Yeah, no, I've smoked quite a bit of shisha. Some of my closest friends were Lebanese, and I actually went to the shisha bar one day and had
never ever tried it ever.
The owner of the place teach me how to properly
you would love it
with
because
hash
you like to vape
and shisha. Yeah, it's a pretty nice experience. It's relaxing. It takes a long time, right? Like it's
oh yeah, no, one bowl for a hookah with just a couple people on it can last hours.
What is with flour or weed, I can totally understand doing a hookah. But what is the medical purposes of shisha or whatever you call it?
Well, you can get some that are very low in nicotine now. And
because I'm not interested in putting nicotine in me because I already vape and I'm trying to cut that down.
It's zero nicotine shisha.
Yeah, you can get.
But is there medical
2%.
things like is there medical benefits to vaping or smoking a hookah? That's
believe it or not, it's the same delivery method as your vape, but basically it creates a vapor, and so you're just vaping like through a hose, and it's a lot smoother on your lungs.
I actually have one right over there, but I never use it.
It's a lot smoother on your lungs if done correctly. A lot of people will want to put the fire directly on the top of it, and you don't do that. You got to make sure your charcoal's lit the right way and all of that. Get yourself coconut charcoal so that it doesn't have all those extra carbons and things in it. And but it's a really nice, it's a really cool experience. And the cool thing for me is I can pack a hookah bowl and leave it on the hookah all weekend, and then just put a charcoal on it when I want to hit. And that's kind of nice too.
Yeah, I can understand that. I understand the whole aspect of hanging out with 2 or 3 people and chilling and smoking off the same thing. That's pretty cool. It's not that I'm against it. I just never really had the opportunity, never really experienced. I mean, we smoked weed out of them when we were kids, and they were, but we didn't know what the fuck we were
doing. If you put weed directly in it, it'd burn out too fast.
Smoking a bowl through fucking a hookah, it was dumb.
It needs that moisture from the...
It didn't really even work. Yeah, I don't even know if we put anything down there. But what about these people that roll blunts now and they're putting that stuff in it? What's it called? Fanto, something like that. What is that all about? I don't know.
Even know what you're talking about.
I don't know what that is either.
Anybody in the crowd? So I don't know. I've never done it. I've smoked it. Unfortunately, I took a hit off of a blunt or something that my my son may not have been walking past me with, and was like, "Here, Dad," and I was like, "Oh, thanks." I took a hit or two, and I was like, "What the hell is that?" And he's like, "It's a blunt." And I was like, "Something's not right," and they were like, "Yeah." He said, "There's Fanto in there," and I'm like, "Why is it?" I guess it's like a tobacco. It's a tobacco leaf that they put in there. I'm not quite sure. That is a filler, I guess. So you don't have to use as much weed. I guess.
Just roll a smaller joint.
Well, I don't. I agree. I'm not saying it was the brightest thing they did, and I didn't enjoy it at all. But they're doing it.
I am I'm actually a brand rep for Lazy Susan products, and they have these rose wraps.
Lazy Susan, I know them.
Yeah, so I'm a brand rep for them, and they have these rose wraps that are basically made from rose petals, and they are. If I had to roll a blunt, I would only roll them with those. They got the pure rose essential oil in them, and so that's kind of nice because it gives you a blunt with a flavored experience.
That would be an interesting flavor too, because I've smoked rose shisha tobacco.
Yeah, I like.
So I know the flavor, and I could see where that would be interesting with cannabis.
Yeah, I really like.
Yeah, nice overtone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? That's why I prefer concentrates in a lot of ways, because people don't understand how much subtle variation there is in cannabis. It smells different in the bag, but when you smoke a joint, by the second or third toke, all weed tastes the same, right?
Correct.
So when you're into concentrates, you really get to enjoy those subtleties.
Every hit. If you do it right.
You're smoking it, right? Yeah, depending on how you're smoking it, you can enjoy that. Just that unique subtleness of different strains.
Flavors, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I like. I always
like about the carts, because you get that flavor. Now, I didn't know that, like when you went, and I'm not knowledgeable at all. I've told you 1,000 times. I'm just a smoker. I grew up, I smoked a lot, and I'm a professional smoker. But when it comes to like the knowledge that you two have, I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck you're saying. But long story short, these carts that I kept getting in the past, and I was like, oh, I hate the flavor of it. I hate the taste of it. It's the terpenes. It's that I didn't realize that's what I want. I didn't know that was part of it. Like, I don't know. Like you said, get this distillate with the berry, whatever it's called. I don't remember.
Think about it, right? People say fruits and vegetables are good for you. You should have a diet rich in fruits and vegetables.
Yeah.
What are fruits and vegetables? They're fiber, they're cellulose, they're terpenes, they're flavonoids. So it stands to reason that if fruits and vegetables are good for you and they contain fiber, cellulose, terpenes, and flavonoids, well, cannabis contains cellulose, fiber, terpenes, and flavonoids, but additionally, it contains cannabinoids. And there's some sort of magic that works between cannabinoids and terpenes and flavonoids that promote this balance in the body, that promote this environment of healing and wellness. And it's extremely cool, but people just don't make the correlation. It's just a plant. And if plants are good for you and if fruit and vegetable is good for you, then cannabis is good for you too.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
It all makes sense now.
This makes sense.
It's all coming together.
So, and people we just need to help people understand and be willing to be more concerned with their own well-being than be concerned with the stigmatization that could come with using something that can give you a better quality of life.
Yeah, no, I think one thing I think that the world has forgotten in the last 10 years is that, the basic concept of I'll do me, you do you. People need to stop worrying about what other people are doing and do what you need to do to make yourself healthy and happy and comfortable.
Yeah. I mean, the way I always looked at it was technically you're number one until you have children.
Yeah.
So you got to look out for yourself first until you have kids. Now, once you have children, your priority has to shift from you being the priority to your children being the priority. Absolutely. But it's funny. That poor thing. If you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anybody else.
It's funny. I joke that my life is a rerun of the show Weeds.
Yeah.
You realize she did everything she did to take care of her kids, right? I mean, and that's the thing. Like, I'm just chopped liver compared to them, but I still have to take care of myself, or I can't take care of them.
Exactly. It's like if you're on a plane and the oxygen mask drops, what do they tell you? Put your own mask on first before you help somebody else.
Right.
Because if you can't help anybody else if you can't function.
Breathe, or
you know what I mean? So, yeah, it's just works.
One of the
right?
things we do on our page, you know, I have certain hashtags I use. One is infused with joy, where I'm talking about my infusions. The other is baked advice. And one of the things I often stress to my followers and other people is that, you know, sometimes you just need to tap out. Sometimes you need to put up those boundaries and say, I need a minute. I need to relax.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's really important to, you know, self-care and, you know, mental health is wealth.
Yeah.
So.
But cannabis, fortunately, can help across many aspects of well-being, mental health, physical well-being. There are benefits to be had for all our physiological processes and psychological processes, for that matter. When it's not effective for everybody, it is effective for a large percentage of people. You know, there is that group that don't tolerate cannabis well, but outside of that, most everybody can.
Correct.
You know, so it's worth giving it a try, is always what I say. There's, you know, the downside is very little, and the upside potentially could be tremendous. So you have to just sometimes overcome that initial fear. And I mean, that's why I wrote the books, right? None of those books are my opinion. And for somebody like you, little boxes, my books are boring. For somebody like me, my books would be pretty boring. What they're really there to do is to give somebody the confidence to talk to a doctor.
Okay.
That's why I broke them down into very specific situations, because if you go on Amazon and buy a book about medical cannabis and you have glaucoma, you might get one page about glaucoma out of a 300-page book that you paid $25 for.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I
It took me, I mean, I had to figure out what treated my fibromyalgia because finding something out there was almost impossible.
I remember the days when it first came out and my friends had it and they were like, this is crazy. Nobody knows what's wrong. I can't figure out why I'm in so much pain, blah, 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 blah. And
fibromyalgia is a chronic pain type situation, right? You know?
Yeah,
So,
it is.
Yeah.
But, you know, but there are so many other comorbidities, I guess, with it. You know, for me, it's like, it's weird. There's no way to describe it. You never know what's going to happen from one day to the next. Some days I feel like I'm wearing socks. It's called tight sock syndrome. It's a side effect. And some days I feel like I'm wearing tight socks and I have nothing on my feet. I mean, it's so weird what fibromyalgia does to you and what your nerves will trick you into thinking.
Yeah, that's
I got to do a commercial. We will be right back after these commercial breaks. You're hanging with Da.Hippie and DoktorHigh, and we have little Dabby down there hanging out with us. We'll be right back.
Say bye-bye to bottled water. Holistic Health Water has certified medical-grade water ionizers that make 7 types of water, including healthy alkaline.
I'm with you, Joshua. Keep the
that
damn
lasts up to a
vegetables.
year, and each machine lasts
I'll tolerate some
attached to
fruits
your
here and
faucet or
there.
installed under your
I'll be
sink.
right back.
Even
All
your
right,
mineral
you do what
spa
you
unit
got
in
to
your
do.
shower. Go to ownyourwater.org to get a free ebook. Plus, pay for any machine in full and get an extra filter free. Change your water and change your life. Ownyourwater.org.
Okay, men, this is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. No, you won't. Because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen.
Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick and proud aunt. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing, but not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. 1 in 6. That little girl sitting alone at the playground, she can't play like the other kids. She doesn't have the energy because she's hungry. School lunch will be her only meal today. It breaks my heart that this is the reality in our country, but it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. This food is then provided to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about using your imagination, learning, and having fun. These children shouldn't have to miss out on simply being a kid because they're hungry. To find out how you can help end childhood hunger in your community, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's me, Mrs. Hibby. Check out Bern on TikTok at You Have Me Hooked. She's amazing. And everything she makes on TikTok, she sells at You Have Me Hooked 23 at Etsy. So you can watch her make it, and she'll make personalized stuff. So if you have an idea, like I would like this thing made, she can make it. She can make anything. She's an incredible artist. Check her out at You Have Me Hooked on TikTok and You Have Me Hooked 23 on Etsy.
Came up here from the backwoods, gotta get to town, gonna grab some goods. Put on a mask, it's off to the neighborhood. Yeah, we live in a place called Gator Swamp, where the snakes are big and the nights are long. We'd rather damn sure be there if we could. I never thought it would be this way. The whole damn world is such disarray. By the grace of God, we'll all rock again. We got loot and shoot, some guns, we got a virus here, so overrun. Can't rock and roll, can't have no fun. Just wait for the Gator Show to come on. If you ever get down to Gator Swamp, when snakes are big and the nights are long, we'll rock with the posse all night long. Brother Billy Crane's gonna play along. Going back to the Gator Swamp, from the hippie island, gonna play those songs. We'll rock that music till the break of dawn. We got Charlie Davis, he's up next. He's one of the Southern's very best. Let's rock with him and all the rest. I never thought it would be this way. The whole damn world is such disarray. By the grace of God, we'll all rock again. Cause we got food and shooting, some guns, we got Max's here, it's so overrun. Can't rock and roll, can't have no fun. Just wait for the Gator Show to come on. If you ever get down to Gator Swamp, where the snakes are big and the nights are long, you can rock with the posse all night long. Never drink moonshine till the sun comes up.
Mangoes are good for your bud.
Huh?
No, I was just looking at Josh's statement there. Mangoes are good for your buzz.
Yeah, we were talking about that the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah, mangoes will definitely help with that uptake.
Yeah.
When I make gummies from scratch, I use mango juice as my liquid.
Perfect. Yeah.
They're not always made from scratch, but when I do, I like to use mango juice, or I can get a mango puree and use that as my liquid.
Yeah.
WTHC, we're back. That was the Pocono Posse's brand new song, Gator Swamp.
Gator Swamp.
Gator Swamp by the Pocono Posse, right out of the beautiful Pocono Mountains right here by me. I love them guys. They are badass. They were supposed to be playing with Leonard Skinner, I heard recently. I don't know if that came through or not, but yeah. What's going on? We gotta get close to be wrapping up. I don't know what time you gotta get out of here, Dr. High or Dabby. What time you guys gotta get out of here?
Good for another 15 minutes or so, 20 minutes.
You wanna like wrap up and figure out what Dabby, how much you got? You got any more time or you gotta go?
I can do another 15 minutes or so. Unfortunately, I have to do the day job at some point today, but I'm not in a rush.
Right. So my next commercial's in about 17 minutes. So I'm gonna make you stay 17. Do our next commercial, and then we'll go. So I want you to shout out all your stuff, Dabby. Anything you want to shout out, absolutely get it out there. Let them know because everybody needs to know about you and you're famous and
well,
cute ass.
I mean, you can follow Little Boxes on Facebook. We, as I said, I am a certified edible maker, and I am teaching an overview of how to make edibles and do infusions for medical patients. And we'll also talk about other processes, including making your concentrates and things like that. I also will eventually be offering some subscription classes. I can travel and teach classes and do things like that as well. On our page, you'll see videos from everything from making our proprietary blend of brownie mix to Sunday dinner. But we try to talk about how every single item that we make can be infused if people have questions about it. We also, we just try to have a fun time there. Our main goal on this platform is to support our community as well as our medical patients. So any creators in the cannabis community who, who give us a follow and who become one of our OGs, we try to do whatever we can to help them because it is very hard.
Am I an OG?
My original gangsters, of course.
I'm an OG.
Yeah, you're my OG.
Do that.
I just wanted to make sure I was an OG.
My one thing I do is that I try to support our community in any way that we can. We try to do giveaways where we highlight things made by other creators since we can't sell our own products on here. We also will eventually we also have our little gifting program where we send out little boxes every once in a while.
Do you have set nights that you're on this platform?
I don't yet because I'm still learning to puppeteer. We're going to work on setting up a little studio space for Dabby.
Look like a pro.
Yeah, I'm still very new to it. Thankfully, as you know, I've got a puppet maker nearby who helps with me. But it's a lot of learning.
What else do you have going on? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to change the subject.
I have a question.
No, it's
go
okay.
ahead.
So the other thing, let's see. Right now, we just got our first little Dabby bong, and I think we're going to do a fundraiser for someone in the community who needs little help with that. And we're also, let's see, what else? You name it. Basically, we're here to provide infused joy, baked advice, and just have a lot of fun. There are a lot of people who've helped me along the way, but I think you've talked to a few of them. We're big fans of lots of people in the community. But if I start going down that list and I leave people out,
yeah, then they all get sad. I totally get it. Dr. High said he has a question for you before we go, I guess.
Yeah,
I do. Man, you taught me so much today. I've learned tremendous amount from you today, and I really appreciate you sharing your knowledge openly like that because it's pretty incredible. Not much I don't know in the cannabis world, and you really brought one to light today. I so appreciate it. But my other question is, how are you streaming this live on Little Boxes right now as a guest? Because I have not been able to figure out how to do that on my own news feed yet. But I see that you're able to do it. So can you teach me one more thing today?
Sure.
Jimmy Stone, how are you? Welcome in, Jimmy Stone. Thank you.
Before I jumped into the studio on StreamYard, I went to the WTHC page and clicked share and shared it to my own page so that the broadcast would already be streaming there so that when I jumped in, I would already be on there. It
How
doesn't
simple.
count as my own video, but I'm just sharing the video that y'all have.
Oh, thank you
Told
so
you,
much.
Dr. High.
Now we have a workaround. Very
All right.
good. I appreciate
That's
that.
awesome. That helps a lot too, because we're dealing
Yeah.
with my 7 followers when my man's got like 70,000 followers or something.
No.
Like that.
No.
Whatever. You know what I mean.
We're
Anyway.
definitely trying to get more people. One thing is that I fought Facebook pretty hard, and you probably remember this from our very first conversation, Hippie. Facebook was originally only monetizing people in our community that they thought were entertaining. They would monetize guys who were, having smoke sessions and things like that. But when it came to people who were here to educate, we were treated like dealers, not healers.
Yeah.
And I fought that really hard, and I finally got monetization status for my page. I don't really push it. I don't try to get bonuses or anything like that. But my point was that women in this community and educators in this community need to be treated like every other creator.
Yes,
No,
I have to look into that whole monetizing thing. I don't care either. I mean, I haven't even started to consider it because I don't even think you have to have a certain amount of followers, right?
And we're right at the same numbers too. I'm just looking at your page right now, Little Boxes. We're right at the same numbers. And my social media girl told me there was no way we could get monetized. I didn't realize it was even possible for what we do.
Once you have over 1,000 followers for 60 days,
okay,
you can become eligible for stars. What you need to start doing is going in your back office and clicking on that monetization tab every once in a while, because you may be eligible and not even know it, because sometimes it's like they want you to slip through the cracks, but you may be eligible and not even know it, and then you just turn it on.
Yeah, I never even looked because I was told it wasn't possible.
When we did our 710 giveaways, my followers were so amazing they almost brought tears to my eyes. We made like 700 and something stars that night. It was amazing. The kind of, and it's really nice to have that feedback and the support from our community. We're not here for that. I think like I said, toward my $5,000 goal, I think I've made $12. But it's still nice to have that and to know that people see what we're doing, eventually I'm hoping that Facebook will themselves give us bonuses and things, but that's going to come down the road because they still have rules about, hemp and other related products and all that. But
yeah, for some of us, yes, for some of us, there's a lot of stoner stuff going on Facebook, which is okay because I myself am a recreational user. I've always been a recreational user. I don't, fortunately, have any particular medical reason that I use cannabis at this time. So I'm pretty lucky like that, and I don't hold anything against these communities. But you're really providing.
These communities. They're my people, and I support them as much as I support medical patients.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
you should have the same opportunities. I see that, Lori. Thank you. I did notice that today that you've been sharing it to my page daily, and I appreciate it because I figure out how. I'm technologically proficient like that, but
then you can make beautiful pictures like these around me here.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It just starts with an idea, and then that's how it comes out. I'm just lucky that I've been able to figure out how to utilize some technology to achieve.
I don't even know. I don't even know how I got here.
Hey, I wanted to ask Kelly about her shopping experience yesterday.
Yeah.
How that went? If she's enjoying the product she had picked up, if she's had an opportunity to give them a try yet, and if so, have they been effective for her? Is she still with us? Of course.
Of course she is.
So we need to get you out those other books, 2 little boxes.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Hi, were you going to give away a book today?
Oh, yeah, that's right. We totally forgot about that. Hold on.
Yeah, that's right.
Let me get my little piece of paper here. I'm going to scratch out yesterday's 47.
All right. It's no longer 47.
No.
Or it could be 47.
Okay. Done.
He wrote
and
a
you already
number.
have a copy to send out to them when we got a winner? I got a number. So.
On your mark, get set, go.
Yep, just between 1 and 50.
They don't have any idea what we're talking about. Little boxes, little dabs. Little Dabby, you can get into it. Pick a number between 1 and 50. You got to write it in the chat there, and the winner is going to win.
Box is going to get the book anyway.
I'm great. Let's give it to someone else who can't.
Yeah, you're going to have it anyway. I'm going to send
win a copy of Dr. High's rendition copy of Is Cannabis Medicine? Yep, Is Cannabis Medicine. Are you watching the numbers? Because I wasn't.
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye, but as we all know, yesterday
you didn't do a very good job. So.
I screwed it up a bit.
To watch better for you. All right, there they go. I should play the Jeopardy music.
We're gonna have to be like yesterday when I do spot it, you'll have to go back through and check. That's my favorite number, 13.
My number. You can't have that number. That's my number.
I got it tattooed right on me.
I have it tattooed on me.
Do you really?
Yeah,
nice.
Right here on my arm. Where's the camera?
Nice. Yeah, I got my.
It's upside down, but it's right.
See, I got my 13 here, and I got my weed leaf over here.
I never got a weed leaf because it was illegal. That's actually my next tattoo. Is I'm going to get a big old one on my back. I think a big old fucking giant one.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Oh, it'll hurt like a fucker.
Yeah, there's certain spots. I got a lot of work done on my back. It's not too bad.
I got my top half of my back done. I'm not interested in going any lower.
I've been very.
Mr. Slow. Well, I can tell you for a fact, Mr. Slow, it's one of them.
No, it's not because he's only got up to 1 to 30 there.
Doesn't matter. Still in there.
Oh, so it's not up to 50 anymore, guys.
Oh,
there
it's,
you
up,
go.
it's up to 50. But I'm just saying.
It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He only went to 30. That's what I'm saying. It could be
Well,
40.
now there's a clue for people, right? Oh, stop right there.
19?
Kelly, 19, yeah.
All right, let me go
You know
back.
what's funny? That's my lucky number.
Hold on, there it is. Wait, there we go, number 19.
All right,
That's what I wrote down.
Let me look.
That's actually the
42.
birth date of the woman with her hand up my ass. So that's my number.
I'm going through. I don't see a 19 yet. I'm pretty.
That was the first time. That doesn't mean anything.
Oh, Kelly Collins, 19. Yep, that's it. She's the first 19 I saw.
But
and
Kelly
she won it yesterday, so she doesn't get it.
No, this is what we're going to do. We're going to have Kelly. She go to my website, to DoktorHigh.com. Take a look at all the books that are there. Pick a
Mr.
title.
Slow, that doesn't count, you cheater. You can't just write all the numbers.
All you got to do, Kelly, is pick yourself a title from my website for one of the books and let me know which one it is, and I will send you out a copy of something other than Is Cannabis Medicine. So that'll be covered. Kelly have 2 different books, and that's okay. She can win 24 more times and still not get the same book twice.
All right. Well, thank you, Dr. High, for giving out that book.
My pleasure.
Little boxes. I will get you any of the renditions of any of his books that I haven't given you.
Well,
yet.
there's 7 missing, so you can.
I think I have 1 through 18, and now Cannabis is Medicine. So now,
which you can send right out to little boxes right away because that's probably the most beneficial.
I'll check. I'll check and send y'all a private messages to which ones I have. So just so we can be clear. For sure.
Sounds good.
I'm pretty sure you got the same ones that I got, the same ones that our other friend got.
Yeah.
We all got them at the same time.
Yeah.
So I think you got like one,
sure too.
1 through 18.
So that would be the way it was, but that's good.
And she is lucky. She wins like when we go to Bella's Badass Crystals and they do their giveaways all the time. she'll win like every other one. She'll win the prize, the free giveaways constantly.
I guess some people are just born that way, right? Some people are just lucky.
We had 3 sets of giveaways the other night. We had I gave away 10 Bees Blunts gift sets, which are the Bees Blunts are those little hat pins made by Ganji lovers. And then I did a doob tube, 2 rose wraps, and a glass tip, and some of our little boxes logo lighters. And then so I gave away 10 of those sets, and I did 10 dugouts made by Atkinson Art, and also with a couple of our lighters. And then the one I haven't mailed it out yet, but Silver Fox made this.
I've been seeing those rigs. Yeah, they're kind of nice.
Yeah. And so she made this with our original artwork on it. And so I had 21 giveaways, but I had them in 3 separate sets like that. And I had one person who won one of each set. So, and won the bong.
Wow.
So, some people
Very
are just lucky like that. Meanwhile, my name never gets called.
Yeah, I'm never lucky.
Yeah. No, yeah.
I can buy 50 tickets. There'll be 60 tickets in there, and I'll have 50 of them, and somebody else will win. That's my luck.
I just seen a guy here in Ontario who hit the lottery for $1 million on 2 separate occasions within about 6 or 7 months of each other. Figure that one out. Yeah. Some people just get lucky, I guess. You know what I mean?
I just read something about a guy who he's hit $50,000 on the lottery like 6 times this month.
Yeah.
$50,000 on the lottery 6 times in a month.
Those are our lighters.
Yeah, it's a cool logo, right? I like that.
Yeah. I'm really a fan of that. And then we also have little Dabby artwork now, but the artwork on these is made by ABC Artwork, and Liddy Lighters and Labels did all these lighters for us, and she did a bunch of different designs. Here's another
nice. Hey, who's doing your glass tips? Little boxes?
I got them from a friend of mine's shop.
Okay. Are they OG? Are they Ruhr? Or do you know the...
I can find out what brand they are. He had them in because unfortunately, our state just passed a bunch of laws where they're actually tightening up, like there will be no flavored vape products and stuff like that.
Yeah,
that's how it is here.
Yeah, so he was getting rid of a lot of his head shop type merchandise because he also has a kava bar, and so he just figured he'd focus on that.
Right.
But I can find out where they're from. They're cool little tips.
It's important.
Can I interrupt for a second?
Yeah,
our state is telling all the vape shops, are telling them that they have to get rid of their flavored alcohols before they're going to get rid of their flavored vapes, because they think that the flavors are attracting children to the vapes, but meanwhile they have 1 million flavored alcohols out there that could be attracting children to their flavored alcohols. Right, yeah, cotton candy this and cotton candy that, and but meanwhile, nicotine with a little flavor, we can't have that. Try to save people's lives. Don't get me on my milk box.
Yeah, no, the glass tips are nice. I used to have my own line of them called Grass Glass Filter Tips.
Oh, cool.
And, yeah, I did. I don't know. I think I did about 50,000 units.
Oh, wow.
While I was working for the wholesaler. But they're really nice, especially for a lady with nails. Never got to get your fingernails burned when you're holding that roach or anything like that. It's beautiful, dry every time.
I could show you. These are what they look like.
Exactly what I was making that. I used to make 3 different styles, but that was one of the styles right there. And they're really nice. The only problem is if you use them, you have to have double the number of tips for the number of joints you'd smoke in a day, because they get filthy real fast, right? You think of a bong, they get dirtier faster than a bong. So you use them for 1 joint, you drop them in a little jar of alcohol. You know what I mean? So if you smoke 5 joints a day, you need to have 10 glass filter tips, because you need your tips for tomorrow to be getting clean while you're dirtying up the other ones today.
See, I'm a simple man. Too much work.
Yeah.
Already.
You're nice though.
I'm
They're
like,
nice experience.
oh no, yeah, I see the benefit. I see. I've known many a girl who is burnt a fingernail trying to light a bowl or light a, not a.
Well,
You know,
the reason I made them was because I got a call from a customer one day who asked me if we stock them, and I had never heard of them before. So he sent me a picture of one of these glass tips. So I started doing some research, and I found that there was only one company making them. They were called Roer. So they were from Holland or the Netherlands. Roer bongs are they're a fairly good line of bongs, good quality bongs, but they're expensive. And one single glass tip, like little boxes just showed us, was $27.
Wow.
$27. Yeah, you probably paid $5 or less for that, I would imagine.
Yeah, no, I think I paid $2 a piece for them.
Yeah, so
which is why I got a bunch for giveaways because I thought they were so cool.
well, that's it, right? And I saw that how expensive it was, so I actually ordered one of those, and we had a glass maker that used to make pipes and different stuff for us in the head shop wholesale business.
Mm-hmm.
So I took it to Pierre, and I said, you know, Pierre, what would it take you to make this? And he looked at it, and he said, well, I could make a lot of these really, really easily. I just make a little jig for them to make them, and that's it. And I said, well, how much do they cost?
I
Yeah,
used to do glass blowing. You could do a long cane and then break it into pieces.
Well, that's exactly what he did. He had a real glass shop. Like, he had his own shop. He had a couple $1 million in equipment in there. He was a pretty serious glass blower, this guy.
Yeah, because it
And
would
he-
be a hollow cane, and then you could make
Yep.
hundreds of them at one time, depending on how long your cane is.
Yeah, exactly. And then when he looked at the Ruhr ones, he could see the stretch in the glass because they never annealed them afterwards. So they made them, but they never put them into an annealing oven to realign all the molecules because heat doesn't move well in glass, right? So the molecules get really misaligned in the end that you're heating. So there's a difference, and that causes stress.
Right.
So when you anneal them, you could drop my filter tips on a concrete floor and they would bounce. Like,
Yeah.
it was pretty amazing, right? They would bounce because he had done it properly. But
Yeah.
packaging and everything out the door for 90 cents each on those.
That's awesome.
You know what I mean? And that's why I got into it, because they were at the time $27 for one, and I was ahead of it. There was only the one. You couldn't find them on Amazon or eBay, just the ones from Ruhr. And that's why I jumped on it so fast. And we sold them out. So
all right, kids. I hate to break up this party, but you said 15. It's already been 19. It's already going to be 4:20. I already got to do commercials. I'm already late. Oh, my goodness.
That's okay. I
radio's-
got to go to work even if I don't want to.
I know. I got to get back to work myself. I got radio to play. I want to thank you, Little Dabby, and Little Boxes, and everything that you do. You guys are freaking amazing. Thank you so much for being here today and hanging out with us and sharing
say
your
hello to the
knowledge.
missus for us.
yeah, I really
definitely will.
appreciate
I
it.
definitely will. She came in and already looked at you, but you were away at the time, and she was like, "Oh, I'm leaving." And she came in and peeked her head around, but you were when you walked away from it.
Aw.
And then, of course, Dr. High, thank you so much for being
Thank
here
you.
and hanging out with us.
Pleasure. The
Thank
pleasure.
y'all for having
And,
me.
and I really, really appreciate what you shared with us today. It has been a revelation for me, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. So thank you so much.
Happy to help.
And
Thank you.
Fable, thank you so much. Yes, I'm gonna need a lighter because as soon as I put this puppet down, I am getting high. I want to thank everybody out here on YouTube and on Facebook. Thank you guys so very much for being here. Dr. High, thank you again. I will see you. Have a great weekend. I will see you on Monday.
Oh, that's right. I forgot it was the weekend. I will see you on Monday. I'll see you all on Monday. Have a good weekend,
we'll see
everybody.
you on
Be safe.
Monday.
Bye.
Stay strong.
Gabby, thank you so much again for everything. You're amazing. We love you. Come back anytime and have a great weekend and get your ass to work, girl.
Thank you. Bye.
Peace. Peace, everybody. Have a great day. WTHC live on Live 365. We got to run some commercials, but we'll be right back. Here we go.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting.
Peace, guys. Thank
A
you so
teenager
much.